Good evening, everyone. Welcome back once again to Vicious Rants. And of course, I am your host, your YouTuber, signing off and imitator, another duplicator, superstar Tim Vicious. And gonna go over Raw this week. Was in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, before we get into the show, big fucking news need to go over. News broke as of Wednesday of last week. If you've been under a rock and not heard this, that's honestly the only logical excuse I could think of as to why you wouldn't know. Tony Khan officially purchased and bought Ring of Honor, which I am all fucking for. I am over the moon ecstatic on it. And I know a lot of the way I know a lot of the way that the show is done. It kind of paints that, we're kind of set up to where we kind of have that narrative looking where, oh, we don't do AEW, we're towing the WWE line, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, go fuck yourself. No. It's just, given the day-to-day schedulings and everything I do, it's just the WWE product's the one that I can sit down and go over. That's what it is. But I am all for Tony purchasing Ring of Honor because few different reasons. One, according to what the rumors are out there, and always take the rumors with a grain of salt, but listen to them. You don't always believe them, but just listen, because there's always, I think the best way to explain this. Every good lie is somewhat based on a truth, right? So, same thing could be said about rumors. It's been said Ring of Honor is going to be used as like a developmental territory for AEW, very much so in the same way NXT is for Raw and SmackDown, which I am all fucking for, because that just gives more talent to get a chance to shine and be on TV. And honestly, let's face facts. People have been saying for a while, AEW's got such a bloated roster. They got so many people, but they only have so much time on TV. They can only have so much time on the YouTube shows. Well, okay, I get that. That's all well and good. Now, they have an entirely other program that they can put talent on. And not only that, here's my other reasoning. I'm happy Tony purchased it as opposed to Vince and WWE because, and this is where you gotta sit and think about it, because if it is true and Ring of Honor is going to be made as a developmental product, that means that the product is still going to flourish and live on in a way. And, well, it's going to still have a chance to shine and still be its own entity, I should say. Whereas if WWE bought it, it would have simply been, we buy the tapes, we buy the licenses, we get all the content, and boom, now it's on Peacock. As good as that would be, I am still very much so. Ring of Honor holds a near and dear place to my heart. I want to see it live and thrive for as long as humanly fucking possible. I can't explain that more hard enough. And speaking of Ring of Honor, they did also officially announce Kerry Silkin is going to be inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame. So, congrats, Mr. Silkin. If you do not know who Kerry Silkin is, look him up. Very much so, he well deserves it. Also, speaking of Hall of Fame, the news was broke as of today. Vader is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame posthumously. Vader was one of the big dudes, was probably one of the first big men that I seen. I was like, holy shit. When I was a kid, just like, whoa. Like, my jaw hit the floor just seeing big 400 plus pound fucking gorilla like that just decimating people like, whoa, that's a dude I don't want to mess with. If I was going to get into a fight with that guy, I'd take a shotgun to him. Twice. Just to make sure he slows down. But in all seriousness, congrats. It's very much so well deserved. He may not have had the best WWF run, but as far as career in general, being one of the few gaijin to be IWGP Heavyweight Champion, as well as he was a former WCW Heavyweight Champion, former pro football player, really just very much so well deserved. So now that we're done all talking about that, we're going to switch gears, talk about last week via the SmackDown Rewind and the big highlights from last week's SmackDown. Well, Ricochet had a match against Sami Zayn for Sami's coveted Intercontinental Championship, which surprisingly Ricochet won, although given it was due to some outside interference from one Mr. Johnny Knoxville. And then afterwards, Sami, all mad and distraught, issued an open challenge to Johnny Knoxville at a match at WrestleMania, which Johnny accepted. Now, I'm normally not one for celeb matches, but Johnny Knoxville has shown time and time again he could be put on the ass end of an ass kicking, and Sami can put on a hell of a show, so that just basically kind of sounds like a good mix of peanut butter and jelly to me. Speaking of celeb matches, it was also announced on the Pat McAfee show when Vince did an interview on there. He's giving Pat a match there at WrestleMania. It was then announced at that SmackDown that Austin Theory will then be his opponent. Again, not normally one for the celeb matches, but I'm good with this one because McAfee did prove himself in that War Games match a few years ago. So I'm all for it. Naomi had a match against Carmella, which she won. It was also announced Sasha's going to go against Zelina this Friday coming up, which is then going to eventually lead to the tag title matches. And let's see what other big things happened. The Usos beat up Nakamura and Rick Boogs as they made their way out to the ring to challenge the Raiders to defend their SmackDown tag titles, which they won. Sheamus went against Big E, which meant we had two big old meaty men slapping meat in the middle of the ring. We had meat slapping meat all over the place. Hey, Wade, can we contact legal to make sure we're allowed to have that meat slapping meat reference? Oh, we can? Alright, good. You know what that's a reference to, like, beating off, right? Okay, making sure you know. Thanks. Anyways, unfortunately, the match did not necessarily get to go too far because as Kofi was outside playing around on the ATV, Reg Holland then came over, beat the shit out of Kofi, then they both beat the shit out of Big E, then they took the ATV out, and then they proceeded to beat the shit out of that. And then we had Ronda Rousey beat Sonya Deville, which, surprise, surprise, Ronda won. Listen, like I said, I personally, when it comes to Ronda, I would be more of less is more with her. I'd have her, the less she's seen, and the less she's seen, the more it's going to be a, oh my god, I gotta see this, kind of an attraction with her. But after the match, Charlotte was there, and then she proceeded to beat up Charlotte, put her in an ankle lock, and yeah. So with that said, now let's get into this week's show, Raw. It starts out with Kevin Owens and Seth Elizabeth Rollins. Yes, I said Elizabeth because frickin' is not his middle name, it's Elizabeth. I dare anyone to prove me otherwise. I have hard-hitting, disputative facts via a Xerox printer saying his birth certificate says Seth Elizabeth Rollins. So anyways, they come out, they're gloating over the fact that they're going to win their tag their tag title match. They're going to go into WrestleMania as the tag champs, and all will be right in the world. And then Alpha Academy comes out, talks about on how they're going to win, and then Gable with Otis, my number one guy. Look at that mug. Mwah! And then Randy and Riddle are in the back, and then they get interviewed, and Randy all hyped up. We are going to go out there, we're going to kick ass, and we're going to win. And then they hit the music, and then we go underway. Now, nice start, but the thing that made me scratch my head really, really hard with this, and this isn't, well, this could be taken as a knock against WWE, but then again, most of the shit that I say can as well. It's a no DQ triple threat tag match. However, all the tag people, all the partners have to stay at their respective corners, and you can only tag your partner. So, yeah, a no DQ, but you still have rules you follow because wrestling logic? I guess? Okay. Well, either way, Seth and KO, they were dictating the pace at the beginning of the match leading into the break. After the break, Alpha Academy wound up isolating Riddle, and then were really working good on him until Randy got the hot tag in. Randy started running around like a man possessed. Next, you know, it was like, Gable, boom, you're getting suplexed onto the announce table. Seth, boom, you're getting it. Owens, boom, you're getting it. And then Otis, whoop, whoop, whoop. And then Otis starting to fight back. And then Riddle takes a few shots at him. Randy, come here, man. And then they both wham and throw him on it. And all I can think is, oh my God, man, that is one strong table because it did not break. It didn't even twitch or nothing. Personally, I think it would have been cooler if it was a rigged table to go on Otis but I also am smart enough to know they wouldn't have been able to do that because then you wouldn't have been able to do, you go on it, and then you go on it, and then you go on it, and then we get the big bastard on it. I get that. I'm just saying it would have been cool to see if the table gave on him. But either way, after the second break, it was a giant cluster where everyone was finally like, you know what? This is a no DQ. Let's all jump in and go all hog shit wild. And then they proceeded to. And then it went all hog shit wild. Which, all good for, because it's supposed to be all fucking hog shit wild. Match came to an end when Seth and KO isolated Gable. Shades of last week. Buckle bomb into the corner. Stunner. Curb stomp, 1, 2, 3 combo. Just as Seth is going for the pin, Riddle picks up Seth, throws him over, swoops in, pins him. 1, 2, 3, and your winners and new Raw Tag Team Champions, Randy Orton and Riddle. Afterwards, they get interviewed, and then Randy says, you know what, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but for the first time in my career, I'm going to say the F word. I am going to say the F word. Riddle, you are my friend. Yes, that's right, folks. The final seal in hell has finally come to be. Has finally broke. Randy Orton said someone is his friend. And then Randy proceeded to do like the Super Bowl thing with, we're going to WrestleMania! So yeah. Next up, we got women's action with Dana Brooke going against Tamina, with Dana defending her coveted 24/7 championship. Before the match, they saw Dana and Reggie. Dana getting ready and then saying, Reggie, can I have a kiss for good luck? And then Tamina And then Tamina with Akira Tozawa, with Akira saying, kiss for good luck. And then Tamina just holding him and then just goes and plants one on him. And he's just like, whoa, that's a lot of luck. Which, okay, we definitely know who's the dom in that relationship there. Listen, I'm not gonna judge or kink shame, but damn. You know? And if anyone wants to shit on the fact that as good of a wrestler as Akira Tozawa is and is doing this comedy stuff, I want y'all to remember, man, listen, this is still, at the end of the day, a business. And not just a business, it's an entertainment business. It doesn't matter if you're in WWE, NWA, AEW, Impact, wherever the fuck. You can't all be hardcore, stone cold, kick-ass machines. Sometimes you need to have a little levity. I mean, for fuck's sake, I remember being a kid, vividly, laughing my ass off anytime I ever saw Akeem come out and start dancing. But God forbid we have some small aspect. Now, I'm not a fan of comedy stories, but if you can make me laugh, then I'm fucking good. And this shit made me fucking laugh. Now, as far as this match went, Tamina, she was powering the whole way through. Had Dana Brooke in a Boston Crab in the middle of the ring, but somehow it looked like something out of a 2K game where eventually Dana pushed herself up and countered it into a pin. 1, 2, 3, that was it. And then Tozawa just kind of looking afterwards like at Tamina like, it's okay, you lost. Can we? And then she's just like, And then she goes and plants a big one on him and then throws him to the side like, okay. Okay, I am extremely nervous for Tozawa in the event she tries to pressure him into ripping off that ninja suit. Next up, we got tag action again, because honestly, the way the format was done for this show, it was basically like a lather, rinse, and repeat of last week with a lot of tag matches and a handful of singles. Tag match, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode going against Tommaso Ciampa and the NXT champion Bron Breakker. And for those who may not know, because listen, I get it. Some folks may not watch NXT because it's not their cup of tea. Just like some folks don't like watching Raw. Or some folks don't like watching the indie stuff. It's all, it's like this. I think of it in this kind of a mindset. You like wrestling? Great. You have a particular shows and promotions you like? Great. No different than with football. You may love football, but you may only like watching the Eagles. You may only like watching the Giants. You may only like watching the Cowboys. Okay, that's all well and good. That doesn't mean that there ain't other shit out there. Same thing with this. Bron Breakker is the NXT champion, and for those who may not know, he is Scott Steiner's nephew. Rick Steiner's son. So he is the big bad booty nephew who has a 33 1/3% chance of completely kicking your ass. Now with that said, as far as the match went, faces they were leading at the start. Ciampa and Breakker, they were leading at the start. Post-break, Ciampa was the punching bag. And then Bron, he got the hot tag in. He didn't run, but he just kind of came in and then started cleaning up. Excuse me. Really liked the way he was handling it. Really handled himself on there. And I know some people, the pessimists will look at this as saying, oh, NXT is so desperate for a ratings grab, they're putting their talent on Raw, or Raw is so low on talent or ratings that they have to bring in NXT guys. Listen, I get it, dude. Listen, I used to be that negative. I used to think that negative too until I eventually thought, man, why don't I just watch it for the sake of watching it and enjoy it? Because honestly, watch the show to enjoy it. If you can't watch a show, whether it's wrestling or some bullshit drama or some fucking rerun of CSI or MacGyver or whatever, if you can't watch a show that's supposed to be based on entertainment, just to turn your mind off from the world, and trust me, there's a lot of shit out there that to turn your mind off on for 5 minutes. But if you can't watch a show just to turn your mind off for 5 minutes, just to unwind, why the fuck are you going to watch it? Because the ones that are going to sit there and complain and say, oh, fuck WWE, I fucking hate WWE, oh, they suck, oh, hey, don't forget to check out such and such show for all the news, gossip, and rumors. Wait, what? Yeah, it makes zero fucking sense. If you don't like the show that much, then you know what you do? You get that pretty little remote of yours and hit click. Guaranteed, that will make more of a statement than doing any podcast, any tweet, any show out there. Whereas for this, it's simple. I got taught long ago, you want to complain, complain. But if you're going to complain, have an idea to help improve it in some ways. And that's what I do. I try and enlighten and bring about some sense of an idea of what was good, what wasn't good, what could possibly help improve. And that's all just my personal view. No one ever says you have to agree or disagree with me. Just, yeah. Either way, damn good match. It was a really nice way of showing Breaker on on the main product, so to say. Or the flagship show, given that it's Raw. Bron really got a nice way to shine and perform. Match came to an end when Bron had Ziggler up for Gorilla Press and then dropped him down for a power slam. Gorilla Press power slam onto Ziggler. 1, 2, 3. That was it. Afterwards, Ziggler had the mic. Congrats, kid. Congrats. You won. You won. But tomorrow, me, you, and Ciampa, triple threat. The second you turn your back on me, that's when I'm gonna win. Yeah. Next matchup we had Omos going against Apollo Crews, which I thought was rather interesting because 2 reasons. One, given Omos' Nigerian heritage, you'd figure they may try and work some kind of a thing in with Apollo at some point or another. And secondly, Commander Azeez on the outside. You got 2 big giant hosses right there. So as far as this match went, Omos, he was pretty much powering Crews through and through. Came to an end. It was a short-lived match. 2-handed chokeslam. Afterwards, when Commander Azeez came in to check on Crews, Omos stared him down, and that was one of the few times. I think that's the only time I've seen somebody actually make eye level with Omos, and you saw Commander Azeez's lip quiver a little, like a small little bit of, oh fuck. This is a fight where I'm not the big bastard. We're both the same. So yeah. Next up, we got women's tag action. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley going against Mella and Zelina. Definitely needed the heart pills for this. Good Lord Almighty. And, stipulation was added. If Liv and Rhea win, then they're added to the women's tag title match at WrestleMania. So, as far as the match went, faces, they led right at the start. Rhea wound up becoming the punching bag, which I will say was different. Was not expecting that. Honestly, I was expecting Liv to be the punching bag, given the fact that Rhea's normally the powerhouse. But I'm good with it. Liv wound up getting a hot tag and started beating up Zelina. On the outside, Carmella was going over, giving googly eyes and and little heartfelt whispers to Corey, and they're doing that to help plug their reality show, which, nah, I don't do reality shows. I fucking can't stand that shit. And the whole time Zelina's just like, what, where's my help? Where are you? And then Liv hits her with a code breaker, tags in Rhea. Rhea then does the Riptide, 1, 2, 3. That was it. So they win, and oh my God, they won, and now they're in the tag title match at WrestleMania. And honest to God, if they lose at WrestleMania, I am going to die. I'm not going to even lie. I'm going to die laughing when all the angry Liv Morgan fangirls that have been trying to that have been going all nuts and shit on Twitter for the past few months. I'm going to die laughing when they all get all butthurt and pissed off over it. I am that mean, evil, sadistic bastard that will laugh at the fans when their favorites fail, die trying. No shame in my game on that, folks. So now we come to the last match of the night. However, not the closing segment. I'll get to that after this. Finn Balor going against one Austin Theory, which, again, hey, like I said last week, but the internet said it was going, that creative had nothing for Finn. But he's the U.S. champ. They wouldn't give him the title unless they had an idea for him, would they? Unless the internet was lying. Which we all know is not the case, because according to the internet, Abe Lincoln punched Hitler in the throat and stopped the bomb and stopped the Battle of the Bulge. At least that's what the internet told me. Moving forward, though, Finn Balor, Austin Theory. This, I gotta say, was a nice, damn good match between these two. These two have not disappointed with matches that they've had yet, in my eyes. I dig the shit out of both of them. I dig the shit out of their matches, I should say. The ending, I didn't like it, but I see where it was a necessity. Finn was getting the momentum, getting ready to go up for the coup de grace. Next thing you know, Damian Priest came out of nowhere, grabbed Finn by the neck, or by the throat I should say, and then threw him down. Ref called for the end of the match, and then Priest proceeded to beat the crap out of Finn. So we're obviously setting up not just solidifying Priest in a heel turn, but a match between them two at WrestleMania. So yeah, I get it. So now we come to the closing segment of the night. Kevin Owens comes out. Him and Seth have been distraught and all torn. What are they going to do now that they lost the tag title match? They have no idea on what to do. Where are they going to go from here for WrestleMania? Seth just looks all beaten, disheveled, much like a father who has a screaming toddler who doesn't sleep at all. Not much of a reach for him. Whereas Kevin was upset, but sitting there thinking, and he's got an idea. He had an idea. And then he said he had to think about it, iron a few things out, and then he would come out and address it. And then he does. And then he says what he's going to do. He's going to do a KO show at WrestleMania. But not just any KO show. It's going to be a very special KO show with one of those backwater Texans. Because we all know on how much KO hates Texas. At first he thought maybe JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield. But then he said, no. Because you see, the horns on his limo would be more entertaining to interview than him. And then he thought, maybe Booker T, right? And then he's like, no. Because Booker, you may say, you may talk down on me, but let me ask you this. As much of a proud Texan as you are, you spent most of your career in a tag team called Harlem Heat. So who's really proud of who? Who's really proud of where they're from? And then he thought, hey, maybe Shawn Michaels, Mr. WrestleMania himself, the Heartbreak Kid. And then he said no, because as a proud Canadian, he could not, because that would go against his hero Bret the Hitman Hart, what his hero Bret the Hitman Hart would want. So that only leaves one other choice, one other viable choice. That some redneck who had to have his knees strapped together with some braces, and then to come on down, he's gonna talk to him, beat him up, and then beat him up while he's drinking beer, and then pour a cold glass of milk over him. And he's talking about none other than Stone Cold. Well, yes, the rumors have been circulating for a while that there was a match, that there was a possibility of an idea of a match between Stone Cold and Kevin Owens. Let's face facts. Steve, I honestly believe Steve really is comfortable in the idea of, listen, I'm not going to compete no more. My last match was with The Rock, and that was it. In my heart of hearts, that's what I really think. Now, do I think Steve will come to a show, cut a promo, pop a stunner, crack a few beers? Hell yeah, that's all Steve Austin really has to do. You hear that glass break, you walk on down, flip someone off, crack a few beers, give a stunner, and then yell what? That's it. Dude, it's Stone Cold. Not much else to him. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. I'm saying that's fucking Stone Cold, man. But, yeah. So, which, again, I laugh because as much as the internet said, oh, it's going to be a match. Oh, no. It's the KO show. It's just going to be a talk show segment. Honestly, I think it's going to go pretty much in the same way like the one WrestleMania where it was the Piper's Pit with Rowdy Piper, Morton Downey Jr., and Brother Love. Which, as a kid, I thought that was fucking amazing. This, I'm hoping, is up on that kind of level, too. So, with that said, folks, that is it for this week's show. So please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, go back, watch some of the episodes when you can. Look for me on the Twitter at Tim Vicious. Also, folks, make sure you get one of these Vicious Ranch shirts over at What a Maneuver. Details are down below. Thank you to my executive producer, Ali Ray Ben, who did provide the music for this week's show. Make sure y'all check it out. It's on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud. All that good shit. Details are down below. Also, thank you to contributor of the show, LFC Laundry Fighting Championship. There are a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of MMA, and a whole lot of attractive women wearing a little bit of nothing. Also, folks, don't forget to follow these cool-ass cats on Reddit on the Twitter. Kenny Killer DSB_IV Diabolica RA, Sergeant Curry Pants and Dubs in your face. And folks, like I always tell y'all, you love me great, you hate me. Fuck you.